Alright, so don't click off just yet. I realize you're looking at a picture currently of an inexpensive pair of gaming headsets. The reason why I'm doing that is so basically you can understand what you're hearing right now. This is the exact same set of headphones and microphone you're hearing that I'm talking into at the moment. I will then switch over to the Amazon Basics microphone that I reviewed for this video. I just wanted to give you a point of comparison since most consumers are probably going from this kind of setup to a dedicated microphone setup, as opposed to just using a pair of $20 headphones. So from here on out, what you're going to hear is the actual microphone being reviewed and then an actual microphone test. So thank you. Alright, so now we're using the actual Amazon Basics mic. I'm speaking a little less than a foot away from the microphone as of right now, just to give you an idea of what we're dealing with just regard to sound quality. So overall, the sound quality is much more crisp and clear, and upon listening to recordings of myself using this microphone, it sounds much more like myself, which is kind of nice. So I think it's kind of the gauge most people use their voice with microphones, kind of use how much loss in sound quality there is. And that's also keeping in mind that some people think they sound differently than they actually do. I personally cannot stand hearing my voice on any kind of recording, so this is kind of out of character for me just doing this YouTube thing anyway. Alright, so first, I'm not going to get too into the weeds on this review, mainly because this is Amazon Basics, which means you've probably already opened up the Amazon Basics page and found this listing. I'll have it in the comments or possibly in the description for you to look at or a quick link to. But this is just a quick unboxing video followed by a test of the actual sound quality itself. Now, if what you want to hear is an actual testing of this device, skip to 3 minutes and 30 seconds in, and you'll see a fairly long test basically using a monotone recording at 432 hertz just to test the gain and the microphone in general. The main difference between this generation of Amazon Basics microphone and the previous Gen 1, this is Gen 2, is that there is a cardioid option as well as an omnidirectional option that's at the top of that button, and you can see there on the video how it basically disconnects and connect to an actual separate mic stand. But it's fairly sturdy, fairly heavy. It's under 10 ounces, but it's meant to compete price point wise with those Yeti snowballs. So not the snowball ice, probably the snowball itself. So we're looking at about a $55 price point, depending on what the sale is, if there is a sale to be had. My only real complaint with the microphone itself is simply that it only comes in one color. I was almost about to buy just a snowball instead, but I decided to go with the Amazon Basics because it was a little bit cheaper and really the color doesn't matter too much. Also, I'm having trouble finding a mic stand that'll accommodate that size of bracket that's on this thing. So that's another point of frustration. Overall, I'm really happy with the purchase, and for about 30 seconds you'll see the actual sound test. And I apologize in advance because of my tech non-savviness. Essentially, I was using my Logitech webcam with this mic turned on. So basically the mic on the webcam's turned off, but this mic's turned on. You're just going to notice a decrease in the quality of the video. It won't be 60 frames per second, and not that that really matters too much, but it's a fairly decent test considering I'm doing in a real working area. It's not soundproofed, it's just my office area upstairs, and that's basically what you see through the rest of the video. If you found it helpful, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, helps keep me going, and have a great day. The rest of the video will just be the test itself. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, please leave a comment. Alright guys, so we're about to do a test of this Amazon Basics condenser microphone, and this is the Generation 2 of this particular microphone from Amazon Basics. It's about just trying to compete with the Yeti snowballs, basically, or whatever the brand is of that, and those little snowball mics that come in different colors. That's who they're competing with here as far as price point. So we're basically going to test this. This is the Generation 2, and what makes it Gen 2 is basically has the ability with this little button on top that you can't quite see, has a green and blue mode. So blue is a cardioid mode. Basically, you're going to hear the sound way out here, but you won't hear it back here as much. And the green is omnidirectional, meaning basically it should pick it up pretty evenly from any direction. So we're going to test that out with just a sound tone test at 432 hertz. And that's basically how we're going to run through this. I'll start off at the lowest level of gain, and I'll basically just put the phone down. Hopefully it'll be on camera enough to be able to see. But I can be semi-professional and actually adjust it slightly just so we can actually see the phone a little bit. There we go. And we're going to press the button and start it on up. And we're going to start at the lowest gain, so I'll turn it down so you won't be able to hear much of anything. And I'll slowly start turning it up, and hopefully there won't be too much feedback from my hand touching the microphone. All right, and that was with the cardioid setting, so a little heart shape kind of coming out from the microphone. And now we're going to do it with omnidirectional, and I'm going to basically just move slowly around the room. What you will probably notice with omnidirectional is more ambient sound. I have my computer sitting about 3.5, 4 feet away from the microphone, so you probably will be able to hear it. Certainly on the higher gain, you'll be able to hear it because we'll be picking it up a little easier. So we're going to test that out real fast. So I'm going to leave it on just a medium setting just so we can kind of get an idea of what that omnidirectional microphone setting sounds like. But first, let's do a quick comparison. I'm going to keep it on cardioid, but I'm going to move the phone around just so we can see the difference in what it picks up. All right, so we should be able to hear some different minor differences there. Obviously, the higher the gain, the more pronounced the difference. The less pronounced the difference might be. However, it will basically go from being very loud to a little bit less loud. So now we're going to switch it over to the green mode, which is the omnidirectional version, basic setting for this microphone. And I'm going to keep it in its current position. Although for perfect, if you want to do this perfect, I could basically set it up on an up and down kind of setting to where more like if you had like a situation where it's two people having a conversation, conference call kind of deal. But I'm going to leave it the way it is, just be consistent between the two tests. All right, so this is just my voice on the omnidirectional setting for the mic, and I'm right in front of it, so it should be just fine, but it shouldn't be any different than from behind the mic. So here's that tone again at 432 hertz. All right, so that's basically just for consistency. We're doing that. The next thing I'm going to do is set it back to the blue setting, so back to cardioid mode. Excuse me, clear my throat. All right, next, this part we got to kind of take it on faith. I'm going to basically tell you about how far away I am from the actual microphone. I'm going to set it to full gain, so you might hear some ambient noises behind me. That could be my computer making some noise. You probably just heard me get a little louder as I turn the gain up. Same thing, 432 hertz. I'm going to slowly back away from the microphone, and I'll announce basically how far away I am from the mic. And after a while, you'll basically be able to probably not hear me all that well. All right, so first test, we're about a foot away. So pretty consistent where we were before. All right, so that's about a foot away. We're going to back it up to about 3 feet. All right, so this is me about 3 feet away, so about a yard, maybe give or take a few inches, and we're going to back it up to about 5 to 6 feet. All right, on the off chance you can't hear that, I'm going to play it while I'm talking just so we can get an idea of what sound's not carrying.
This is just a cell phone with full volume on. It's a relatively cheap phone from Motorola. So right now it's playing. If you can hear it, you can hear it. If you can't, you can't. But this is me about 6 feet away on full gain. So if you're in a situation where you're this far away from the microphone, this is what you can basically expect. And I have a voice that carries fairly well over distance, so that'll be basically the test for that situation. And again, I apologize, this is not meant to be a soundproof room kind of test. It's really just meant to test the practical use of this microphone in any given setting, conference calls, YouTubing, whatever you want to do, if you want to play games with it, whatever. But it works pretty well, and it does. Based on my hearing of this microphone, I've done one review video on another product previous with this microphone. The voice is much more crisp, so I am happy with the product, and I do like the fact that it does have the 2 different settings as opposed to the previous generation only had the 1 setting in cardioid, so you could, in theory, set this thing up for a conference call or for multiple people or even possibly instruments depending on what your recording needs might be. Alright, this last little test, we're going to keep it at full gain. It's going to be in cardioid mode. I got forbid I say that correctly one time. We're going to turn the mic towards the camera because I'm going to walk through my house and basically I'm going to keep that tone going. I'm also going to clear up the talk in between, trying to keep my voices about the same level, just so we can see how good the pickup is over distance in cardioid mode. So we're going to turn this real fast. So sorry about the noise it might make for me handling the microphone. Alright, so we're turned, it's at full gain, and we're going to start basically at the camera distance, which is about a foot. I will now slowly start to walk away from the microphone. I'll give you updates about how far I am away, but I will not raise my voice. Alright, I'm now between, I would say, 10-ish feet away from the microphone, so if you can hear my voice now, I'm speaking about the same level I was prior in this little clip. And here's the 432 hertz again noise. Alright, now let's say I'm about 15 to 18 feet away. I could get a tape measure out, but this is further away than anybody would functionally want to use this microphone. This is just to test its abilities. And for all I know, you can't hear anything I'm saying or the tone. And I'll repeat the tone real fast, and I'll stop in about 5 seconds. And that will be the end of my video. And then I'll say thank you for watching. Have a great day. Thank y'all for watching. I hope it was helpful. Have a great day.